practice number 15, so we got 30. So we're right at the halfway point. I thought today was good. Thought the energy was good. We had the close scrimmage against Georgia Tech. We got a lot of good stuff out of that. I mean, they switched defenses up, so we got to go against some pressing, zone, man, everything. They're a good team. Josh does a good job with them, so I thought that was good. We got to remind ourselves where we were at this point last year. Sometimes you're a little frustrated with where you're at. You comparing where you're at now with where you finished last year. Well, Herb, Reese, Petty, Bruner, Primo are not here. We've got new guys that need to figure out how we're playing. I thought JD had one of his best practices since he's been here today, so he's coming. We got to get him being more aggressive. I thought he was aggressive today. We got to get him playing more athletic on offense and defense, both using his athleticism. I thought he had some of that today. So he's coming. Cornerly was good. Shackelford's been here longer than anybody, been in the system, played more minutes. He knows what we want. He's one of our better defenders, which, he's come a long way since his freshman year on the end of the floor, but one of the more talented offensive players in the country. So, then you throw Keon Ellis, who I think is one of the best two-way players in the country, and you got a really good guard group. Betty Acco's coming along, our bigs. Keon Ambrose is coming back from the injury. He was able to get some live stuff today. It looks like as long as things progress like they should, he should be able to play Sunday against Louisiana. So, Betty Acco, Ambrose playing well. Noah Gurley's starting to get a better feel for what we want. Juwan Gary's added, a little bit to his game, making some shots. So, we've got good guard play. I think our bigs are coming along. Just got a lot of young guys that haven't played here, and we're bringing them along. But I like where we're at right now. I just got to keep reminding myself that Primo didn't look great in some scrimmages last year. He ends up being a 12 pick in the draft. He was really good for us during the year. Like some of your freshmen, JD, Charles, Jason, they may not look great all the time, but we just got to keep bringing them along, keep building their confidence, keep getting them to play hard, play the right way, and if they want to be great, like Primo did, which I feel they all do, they're going to get there. So, that's kind of where we're at halfway through the 30 practices. So, I don't know what questions you guys got.
Charlie, go ahead.
You mentioned helping the young guys come along with Herb and Petty and Reese and Bruner and all those guys leaving. Just where would you say your leadership's at this point?
Yeah, I think Shaq's been one of our better leaders. He's played the most here. Javon Quinterly, Keon Ellis are definitely up there too. Keon, with just how he plays, how hard he plays both ends of the floor, and he's got no problem speaking up. And none of those three are necessarily super vocal, but they're not quiet kids either. They're more than comfortable saying something that needs to be said. And I think they're all very capable players. So when guys, when they speak, guys are going to listen. We also get some leadership from some of the walk-ons. I think Tyler and BJ, they've actually been here longer than anybody. They were here before I was here. They when they speak, they know what we want, what works. They may not be our more talented players, but they know what we need. So those two speak up. Noah Gurley's a senior, he's grad transfer, actually. He graduated from Furman. So, he's one that hasn't been here, but he's been in college basketball for 4 years. So it gives us a little bit of leadership there too.
Go ahead, Tony.
Do you envision seeing Jaden Shackelford, Javon Quinterly, and JD Davison on the court at the same time? If so, how would that work? And then if not, how do you kind of plan on balancing it out, considering the talent level of all of them?
Yeah, they're going to be on the floor a lot together. I mean, we play a lot of yards. I mean, if your third best defender is going to be on either Quinterly, Shackelford, or JD, I don't know which one they put your third best perimeter defender on. It's going to be a major mismatch. So, we're going to have to build our defense to, one of those guys is going to have to guard a three. JD's got a little bit of size for a guard, 6'3", pretty strong, body put together. Shaq's strong put together. I think we can give them help. They would have, the other team would have a mismatch with their three-man on one of those three. Well, that also means they got a 4 and a 5 in the game, and we can give a lot of help in the lane with the college game that way. So everybody's always, you go back to our days at Buffalo, I started 3-point guards my second to last year. That year we beat Arizona. We started Wes Clark, who was starting point guard in Missouri, C.J. Massenberg, who started the point guard for Brooklyn Nets G League team, Devontae Jordan. They were all 3 point guards. Like, Shaq's a scoring guard, can play some point, but you can play 3 point guards. We went into Arizona's biggest team in the country, I think, that year. I mean, they had DeAndre Ayton and Andre Ristic, and we started a 6'7" 2-guard at the 4 and 3 point guards. You can win in college playing multiple. I think we played those 3 in Keon Ellis at the same time. We did it against Georgia Tech. And so then the question is, the other bench is, do we need to sub to match up with us, or do we need to try to go at the mismatch? Well, I think going at the mismatch in the post, points per possessions are usually lower than what we're going to get on the other end. So we're going to have no problem playing the best guys on the floor. You'd like to be able to have a little bit more size at times, but I think we're fine playing a lot of guards together at the same time.
And you mentioned you played Keon with that. Who would be the big in that? And does it kind of help having a guy like Bediako kind of?
100%. Bediako can protect the rim if we, I think Bediako's rim protection. You guys watch a little practice today, and you're going to see it on Sunday. He gives us another added dimension we haven't had since we've been here. But yeah, you could put him out there. You could go small. You could put Gurley at the 5. Shoot, we finished 5th in the country last year. We're the only high major team to win regular season, postseason, both in their conference. We played Jawan Gary and Herb Jones at the 5 zone with, 4 guards out there. So you're essentially playing 5 guards. So I think mismatches go 2 ways, and I like the mismatch with guards attacking bigs on the perimeter on the other end a lot better than, I think we can handle some post mismatches with the way the game. I mean, there's no 3-second lane rule in college. You can put guys in the lane, you can help off, you can double, you can trap. As long as your guys play hard, you can rebound with them, I think you'll be all right.
Joey, go ahead.
Coach mentioned him a couple of times, but in the brief snapshot of practice we got to see today, Noah Gurley seemed to be fitting in really well with the team, and he's doing pretty well. How have you seen him progress since joining the team, and what do you expect him to contribute this year?
Look, I like Noah a lot. He gives us that big that can play 4 and 5 both. Can be your spacing 5. Charles gives us a dimension we haven't had here, and he's playing really well. But he's not going to pick and pop a whole lot like Bruner and Reese did. Gurley can do that. He shot 38% from 3 in one of the seasons at Furman. He's a more than capable shooter. He can drive, and he's athletic. He can move. He can switch on the ones. He gives us, he can play the 4. And we've got a real legitimate 4-man in the SEC. He can play the 5, where we go with that kind of mismatch, pick and pop 5. He needs to be good for us to be good this year, and he's starting to figure it out just with his effort and everything.
Nick, go ahead.
You mentioned practice 15. As far as Biggs' development, what's just the biggest way you've seen, or just some of the ways that you've seen that growth from that position, or just guys that are bigger?
Keon Ambrose, Charles Bediako, Noah Gurley, I think they're figuring out where we're going to get them the ball, on the rolls, how they're going to play in the pocket, what are their reads when they're getting it. They're getting better playing off our guards' drives. They're getting better defensively, knowing when to help, and we've got to get some better rim protection than what we had last year. We've got some younger guards, maybe they're going to play, maybe get be a little bit more. Like when you get a guy like Bediako in there to protect, I think he's figuring it out. Ambrose was here a year already, but you can tell he's much more comfortable this year than he was last year. A year under his belt. Bediako, we started Bediako at the 5 against Georgia Tech. Whether he remains that or not, we'll see how everything goes. But it's nice to have a guy that can really protect the rim, run the floor hard, athletic, can throw lobs up to him. That's where where are they going to be able to catch the lobs on pick and rolls, or how different guards are going to throw it to him different. But JD, JQ, both unbelievable passers. Shaq's finding our bigs on pick and roll lobs, drop offs off drives. Shaq's doing a good job finding it. Keon Ellis can really pass. So we've got guards that are going to find them. They're learning how to play off the guards a lot better now.
Second row left.
Hey, Coach. 3 weeks from tonight's the opener against Louisiana Tech. At this point, what do you think your team's excelling at, and what still needs to be worked on?
We got to, we're excelling at playing fast, but we got to work on not turning it over while we play fast. But again, as a coach, if you want no turnovers to be your number 1 thing, then don't play fast. We're going to play fast. We're going to have some sloppy turnovers this early in practice, maybe in few games. You got to deal with it. We got to get it trimmed down though. Turnovers are now where we want them to be. Our at the rim decisions, guys learning how to play an attacking mindset. Do I try to score it? Do I spray it? Who do I spray it to? Do I drop it off to the big? We got to get better making decisions at the rim. I think our rebounding has to improve. We, we're on it. We're coaching it. Coach Hodgson's kind of our rebounding coach. He's all over it. He's doing a good job with it, but we got to get better. We got to get our guards rebounding better if we're going to play fast in transition. We got defensive rebounds got to get better, and then defensively, we're not the third best defense in the country right now. We're not even close. We've got a long ways to go that way. We've got a lot of new guys that haven't played in our system that need to know what our system looks like. You know, when you lose Herb Jones, maybe the best defensive player in the country, defensive player of the year in the SEC, Petty, who had a high IQ with a lot of athleticism, Primo, long, athletic, high IQ, you know, Reese and Bruner, high IQ guys. You lose those types of players, you got some work. Now, we do have Bediako, who's going to erase a lot of mistakes. Keon Ellis, I think, could be the best two-way player in this league. So you're starting Shaq's understanding a lot better on the defensive end. I like where he's at a lot. You know, so we've got some pieces. Juwan Gary's a really good defender. We just got to put it all together. So those some of the areas I think we got to improve on.
Okay, I think we got a couple questions on Zoom. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Mike Burdack.
Yeah, Nate, just kind of a big picture question. I think within the span of 2 months this offseason, you had both Coach Williams and Coach K, make their announcements in retirement or, last year. Just how much of a new era does this feel like for college basketball, given what the traditional giants might have been in the past?
It's a good question. I mean, those guys aren't in our league, but they're obviously Coach K's a stalwart, coaching the USA Olympic team, and one of the best coaches in the history of the game. So for him to announce his retirement at the end of this year, he kind of, Roy Williams, one of the best coaches in the history of the game. It's, I don't know if you say there's a change in the guard, but there's definitely two Hall of Fame coaches that won't be coaching after this year. So, and maybe the biggest rivalry in college basketball. So there's definitely some changing going on. How does it make me feel going into this year? I haven't given it a ton of thought, other than I respect both those guys immensely and the job that they did in their particular programs. And, it's kind of sad to see him retire. Shoot, I grew up going to Coach K coaching clinics and had his books and his DVDs, or shoot, back when I was in some VHS tapes. So, it's sad to see them retire, but it's, they felt it was time. I'll say this, I think the biggest change this year going into the season is just, there's not a whole lot of guessing. Are we gonna play? Are we now? When's the opener? I mean, last year with all the unknown with COVID, it was a little annoying. Like, we were switching games up last minute. I mean, all right, Houston can't play, now we gotta fill it with Western Kentucky. I mean, I didn't even do that when I was a high school coach. You had your season set and you played the games. Like, now we're a college coach trying to find a game the week of the game. Like, there's just all that unknown most of that unknown is out the window now. We're going to play. We're playing, 3 weeks from today. We're playing Louisiana Tech. I don't think there's going to be nearly the amount of uncertainty, which is great. It's a great feeling. We're going to play 31 games, not 27. It's great to get back to a full season. I'm excited that it's somewhat back to normal, at least more normal than it was last year. I'd like things back to normal as quickly as possible, and I think we're getting a lot closer to that in college basketball.
Stephanie, we got one more.
Michael Casagrande.
And too, if I could, just wondering, talking about that game schedule and stuff that.
My golf game's the same as it was the last time I talked to you, in case that's one of the questions.
No, one of the questions is since you played last year, will it be a home and home with Western Kentucky this year, next year?
He's a Western Kentucky.
We owe the Hilltoppers. I'd like to get them on like a four-year contract just for you. Go right along with the hole-in-one deal. You want to take video of my bad swing, I'm gonna hit a hole-in-one. You want to talk to us about losing to Western Kentucky? We may see what happens after that. That's how it goes with you, Michael. So we're gonna try to maybe do a 4-year contract and then start next year or something.
Cool, that sounds cool. Getting to this year with JD, I think you talked about him a little bit at the beginning. Can you expand upon some of what you've seen from him in practice? Is there any frustration with him coming in at such a highly rated recruit and running the college game?
JD was great today, like as good as I've seen him. Hitting threes, getting to the rim, finishing at the rim, finding teammates. like all freshmen, there's gonna be some inconsistencies. They gotta realize what it takes at this level on a daily, everyday basis. But I'll say this, he's a quiet kid. He didn't talk much in the recruitment. Petway had done a great job building that relationship before I even got here, and we continue to work on it, and we're fortunate to have him here. I think, we've had a lot of NBA scouts come through. We had Jim Boylan spent 3 days with us. He was head coach for the Bulls, spoke at our clinic. A lot of those guys are really excited about him, as we are, because they see all the potential, what he's capable of doing. Now, are you gonna see that every single day in practice, every night out? No, not yet, but we're gonna get him there. That's the plan. Let's get him a lot more consistent. You look at last year's freshman with Primo. Early in the year, he wasn't great all the time. Consistency is an issue with young kids and freshmen, and it's the same with him. But his ability level, his care level, he wants to be great. He's much more vocal and talkative than what I thought he was going to be coming in. And his IQ, just because, if a kid doesn't talk a ton in the recruitment, you're not quite sure where their basketball IQ is going to be and all that. His basketball IQ is actually pretty high, and he's very coachable. So you always wonder, if the kid rated that high, how coachable are they going to be? Do they think they have everything figured out? He's not. He's the opposite of that. He wants to be coached. He wants you to make him better. He's more talkative than you think, and his IQ is pretty high. So, combination of all that to go along with the athletic ability that he's got and the skill level he's got, he's going to be really good for us. And I'm pretty happy with where he's at right now.
I think we have one more back there from Bob Holt, right?
Yes, Bob Holt.
Hey Ned, how you doing? Hope you like my Packers.
Go. That was a good one we had there. We escaped the field goal debacle. Last time I was at that game live in Detroit. The last time Crosby wanted to miss that many field goals, so we're good. We're sitting good.
Well, it's always good to beat the Bears. Hey, there's 5 SEC teams in the AP poll. I guess matches the Big Ten. Wonder what you think about that. I guess the balance at the top of the league, and I'd be curious specifically if you had any thoughts on Arkansas, the way Eric's kind of had to reload there with a bunch of transfers again.
Yeah, so I think our league's really good. We're tied with the Big Ten for most teams in the top 25. Big Ten's a good league. I think we had more draft picks than any other league last year, if I'm correct. I think we've got really good talent in this league. I think we've got a lot of really good coaches. We've done a remarkable job with their programs. I think 6 coaches have coached in the Final Four. So, I'm not sure of the order. I think Kentucky's right ahead of us in the AP top 25, and I think it's maybe us. And then, like you mentioned, Arkansas, and I think Coach Musselman's done a great job. He does it a little bit different, but it's, Kentucky goes and gets a lot of McDonald's All-American type, Coach Musselman's always gone and gotten some really high-level transfers. He's starting to mix in. The recruiting class. Says they're starting to, it's that place a little bit different than Nevada. Arkansas is able to recruit better high school kids, and he's doing that. And his program's really risen since he's got there. Tennessee's been at the top. Coach Barnes does an unbelievable job. They've been able to recruit some really high-level guys, and you look at. I think the better teams in college are able to kind of combine taking transfers, taking high school kids. I think you'd be making a mistake if you didn't take any high school kids, because I look at how good JD is right now. I look at how good Primo was last year for us. Charles looks really good for us right now. Jason's going to help us win games. I think you have to take some high school kids. I think you'd be foolish not to look at the transfer market though too, because again, Keon Ellis comes out of junior college. He helped us win a lot of games last year. Jordan Bruner helped us win a lot of games. Noah Gurley's can help us win a lot of games. Like we've been able to do a little bit of both, and I think that's the way we want to do it. I think when you're looking at high school guys, you'd be a little bit more picky because come spring that transfer portal is going to have some pretty good players in it. Now you got to do your homework, make sure you're getting guys that are high quality guys that aren't leaving their current situation because of some character issues. You don't want to bring those in. I think we've got this culture where we want it. We've got hard working, high character guys in here, and we want to add that type to what we're bringing in. So, yeah, I think the SEC is one of the best basketball leagues in the country right now. Hopefully we come out preseason. I felt like we didn't kind of hold our own last preseason. We were 4-3. We ended up winning the SEC, but then when you look at our preseason, we lost some games we shouldn't have lost. Like we need we need, I'm gonna be pulling for every SEC team in the non-conference. We need to do a better job on our end, and we've got an unbelievable schedule, so we can really help the league out with how we play in the non-conference. We're gonna try to make sure we're prepared, but shoot, there's no guarantees on that. I mean, Gonzaga's not an easy game. We got a lot of hard games in there. Houston, Memphis, Gonzaga, possibly Kansas. When you go down that, Baylor's not before SEC play, but it is a non-conference game in the middle of SEC play. So, you know, I didn't feel like we did pull up our end of the deal in the Big 12 Challenge, losing to Oklahoma. Like we got to do a better job on our end. We just need the SEC to do a better job overall, but I think we've got a pretty good league.
All right, we got time for one last question with Katie. Sorry.
Coach, when you talk about what y'all lost, how important is it for this team that Shaq and JQ both decided to come back and they could have done other things, and then how for them individually will it help them maybe to prepare for the NBA?
And we wouldn't be looking nearly like we are if those hadn't come back. If those two weren't back here, we'd have lost our top 6 scorers. We lost 4 of our top 6, but we did get the top 2 back, which are Shaq and JQ. So I think, you know, they both looked at professional options. JQ did not end up putting his name in the draft. They got some feedback and just decided they were coming back here. You know, after his year at Villanova and after the year he had here, I think he felt like playing one more year in our system would really help him, and I think it will. I mean, he's looked unbelievable in practice. I think he's going to be really good for us this year. I think he's going to up his stock. You know, Shaq did put his name into the draft, looked at it, looked at other college options, and which I want, like I tell recruits here, like I never pressure recruits into committing either. I want everybody to be 100% determined this is the spot for them, and they didn't get forced into this. So same with Shaq. If you want to look somewhere, that's fine. I want you here because you're convinced this is the best spot for you to achieve your goals. So when he became convinced this is the best spot for him, like, welcome back with open arms. Like we love him. He's going to be great for us. He's the leading scorer on the 5th best team in the country last year. So having those two back with the leadership they provide, with the experience that they have in our program, I think was huge. I think they're leading the team well, combined with Keon Ellis. When you've got really good experienced guard play in college basketball, you've got a chance to win a lot of games. Now we're going to get our bigs up to, they're not as experienced, but I think they can be pretty good for us. So having those two back is huge for us.
All right, thank you.